Everybody plays a fool sometimes. Use your heart just like a tool. Listen, baby, it may be factual, it may be cruel. I ain't lying, but everybody plays a fool. Why are you here? You want to know what happens to my teethuses? Why? Why? Well, I'll tell you why. You want to know people's, when you smile, because you got that type of smiling personality, you smile because you forget you only got one toothus, and that toothus is fucked up. So people's in their mind, be like, that boy, he must smoke crack. People be coming up to you on the street. Where the crack at? Where the crack? Nigga, can I say nigga? I don't know about no crack, boy. The other people, they be like, that boy must have never ever brushed his teeth. I'll be like, you ain't lived with my mother, but nobody ever asked me, nobody ever came to my face and said, Roy, what the hell in heaven is going on with your teeth? Boy, why don't you get yourself together or you turn out like a bum on the street? Because you ain't got no teeth. Straighten yourself up, boy. What's wrong with you? Huh? Nobody never came to me and talked to me. I had to figure it out myself. You want to know what happened to my teeth? So let's address the white elephant in the room. Is the elephant white? It's always white. Anyway, maybe it's pink. Maybe it's black. I don't give a, I don't got some. I don't care what color the elephant in the room is. If there was an elephant in the room here with me, like an elephant in the room, like an elephant, like a grown ass elephant, I'll be like in the corner, like, cause a big ass elephant in the room, you be like taking up damn near all the room. I'll be in the corner, like, help. But the question is, what they say, I can't think of the god dag nabbit word, but it's not a real situation. There ain't no elephants walking around in Leimert Park right now. I don't think so. Anyway, the elephant in the room in this situation, yeah. What's wrong with your teeth, boy? Straighten yourself up, boy. You're smoking crack, boy. You ain't brush your teeth, boy. But nobody ever came to my face and asked me, what happened to your teeth, Roy? Nobody. None. Zip. Zero. Nada. None. I had to figure it out. After I got out of the Marine Corps, maybe people were scared of me because I will fuck you up. But I love you. I ain't gonna fuck you up. Anyway, people think you a bum. Like you're on the streets because you ain't got no teeth. They never asked, can you speak properly? Do you have any knowledge? They never asked me. I'm just realizing this in my old age. But this is the image. So if I be talking a lot about where I'm at, what I got, blah, 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 that's my background. So people like, you fucked up, Roy. In their mind. You ain't got no teeth. Why? You ain't got no teeth. Straighten yourself up, boy. Now, the reason that I don't have any, or I only have one tooth left, yeah, and it's fucked up because after all the other teeth fell out, I was like, fuck that tooth. I'll be glad when it's gone because I don't go through any pain anymore. But anyway, the real reason, check it out, don't believe me, that my teeth fell out because I'll show you pictures if you want to see of when I had beautiful, not just any old teeth. I had beautiful teeth, beautiful. And then I joined the Marine Corps. I don't know if it was a patriotic thing. I just thought they had the coolest uniforms out of all the other services, so I became a Marine. After an appendix operation that was still open when I went into boot camp, I was 116 pounds when I went into Marine Corps boot camp. When I came out of Marine Corps boot camp, I was 145 pounds. Oh, I'm not going to tell you why I had the appendix operation, because I was poisoned from all the white garbage that we used to get on welfare that they used to feed us. Like that white garbage that you see them feeding, what's his name, Bill Gates, the devil. The devil of Gates be feeding African. I seen a picture of him feeding an African child, and the mother's holding the child, and he's feeding her some. He's feeding the child some white garbage. That's how I grew up. We grew up on welfare, so they gave us our food. There was no such thing as food stamps, so we had to go down to the projects and pick up food every month or whatever it was. It's like really embarrassing. You pulling this cart and a bunch of 1,000 people online, and they give you white bread, white flour, white sugar, white. What else they gave us? Well, the only other two things I remember, the only two things that had any color was the big. I think it was a pound of cheese. Cheese. a pound of cheese, and the only real food that they gave us was a can of peanut butter. And the only reason I know it was real food because it was the peanut butter that the oil comes up to the top. So you had to mix it up. And we grew up eating peanut butter from the spoon. I mean, we didn't waste bread. You eat some peanut butter, and then later on we used to make white bread sandwiches. Put butter. Oh yeah, that had a little color. It was a little yellow. So I think they gave us butter. So you put some butter on your white bread, and then you sprinkle sugar on it. That's that was part of our diet. And then sometimes we took the white bread and we make some Kool-Aid, the colored stuff with a bunch of sugar, and then you dip the bread in the Kool-Aid. That was a meal. And then we take the white bread and we dip it in Aunt Jemima syrup. That was a meal. That's how I grew up. Now, thinking about it now, being the youngest child, and my mother and father were considered old when they had me because they was in their 30s, their mid-30s. Everybody, because I lived with my mother and my brother and my two brothers. We all lived together and we all ate the same garbage. White bread, white flour, white sugar, white salt, white. I'm black. Well, y'all call me black. Why am I eating white? Anyway, so my appendix burst. No, I had what they call a perforated appendicitis. It busted. Why did it bust? Because all that white bread, white flour, white sugar, white salt, yellow cheese, it wasn't moving out my body. And now that I think about it, now that I'm a teacher, I realize that when I was a child, I wasn't like really, really active. I was just in there with my little toys and my little cutouts from my Marvel comics that would be worth millions of dollars right now. I used to cut out the superheroes and play with them because we couldn't afford real dolls. I don't know where I get the comic books from. Anyway, do you know how much the comic books are? This is the 60s when Marvel first came out. I had the first editions of the Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Black Panther, the first editions. You know how much those are worth now? I used to cut them up because we couldn't afford toys. Yeah, I'm going into my background because that's not what destroyed my teeth. Not the white bread, the white flour, the white sugar. I mean, your bones and teeth are not being built off of that white garbage. So, after my operation, which was open for 2 years, because I was 18, and I wanted to go in the Marine Corps when I was 18, but my appendix busted and I didn't go in. And when I was 20 years old and my appendix operation was just starting to heal, I'm not going to show it. I'll show it. I showed it before because it's a scar. I can't make this up. It's a real scar right there. They went inside of me and pulled out what was left of my appendix. Do you understand what that is? Somebody cut you open, reach their hand inside your body and pull something out that was there when you was born? Nobody ever asked, Roy, how did almost dying affect your mind? None, zero, nada. I don't think nobody knew to ask, but they'll talk about you. They'll talk about you like a dog and never ask, hey, what's going on with you? Never. I had to figure it out. No, not my father. My mother was there for me, but like I said, some people probably just don't know to ask these questions because we definitely couldn't afford no God psychologist and all that bullshit. So anyway, so that was the first time the United States poisoned us. And what I was starting to say before, me not being so physically active, eating the same stuff that my mother ate, that my brothers ate, but they were constantly out in the street. My mother's always walking, my brothers was selling stuff, and but I was in the room with my $1 million comic books, cutting them up like this. And I'm the guy that take the watch apart. I didn't know how to put it back together, but I would take it apart, just to see. I'm the guy that just sit there, so I wasn't really moving. I was into my little bit of martial arts, but not. So that stuff just built up and built up and built up. See? And built up in my appendix. Like that, like that. My appendix must have been like that. Then it got perforated appendicitis. It busted. Before it busted, my mother took me to the Jewish hospital down the road on the Grand Concourse. They gave me a suppository. Look up. That's something you stick up your ass so you can to make you shit. I'm gonna be straight up. Now that I teach healing, I found out medically, if you go in the hospital with stomach pains like that, I had pains because I was throwing up. I'm going to get real. I was throwing up and shitting at the same time. So my mother brought me to the hospital, and them bastards gave me a suppository and sent me home. So now my appendix busted. I'm shitting and throwing up at the same time. So my mother, I don't know, where do moms and grandmoms get the money? Because she took me down and we caught a cab down to Harlem because we lived in the Bronx. And we went to Harlem Hospital. Boom. They didn't even, I was a youngin'. I was 18, but I was too much in pain for them to ask my permission to do operation. I was getting ready to die. Like straight up and down. Dead, die. You understand? And the doctors told me that. The doctors, after they operated, I had a spinal, you know what a spinal tap is? They took a needle. Yeah, I'm not exaggerating. They wasn't supposed to let me see the goddamn nabbit needle, and they stuck it in my spine. They put me in a fetal position. Two doctors held me, and they stuck a needle in my spine and said, "Don't move." Don't move. You're sticking a needle in my spine. So I'm going to sit there like, oh, la-di-da-di-da. Thank you for the needle in my spine. Well, thank you, but don't move. Because thank you because they saved my life. They saved my life. After the operation, when I finally woke up, I had tubes in my nose, tubes in my mouth, tubes in my... I had tubes in most of the holes in my body. I woke up, like some TV shit, like everybody sitting around the bed. And yeah, the doctors like, you should be dead. But once your appendix busts, you got poison. It's like poison, and it just all in my body. So the cut that they did the operation stayed open for 2 years. I had to change the bandages every day because it's pus. And I'm gonna be real. It's pus coming out, so I gotta and blood. So I gotta change bandages. And finally, about 2 years later, when I'm 20 years old and 116 pounds, I don't know how it happened, but I went in the Marine Corps. They called me, the first time I tried to go in at 18, they said I didn't have a high school diploma. And then by the time the operation was starting to heal, they was like, "Oh, you don't need a diploma. Come on." So I went in. I'm like, "Fuck it." There wasn't shit going on in the Bronx. Shit. The Bronx was shit. The Bronx was shit. And I'm a creative person. I got ideas. So I left New York and went to serve my country in the Marine Corps. And this is where my teeth and bones got fucked up. Because I went to Okinawa, that was cool, that was beautiful. I learned photography, blah, blah, blah. And then when I came back to Camp Lejeune, where I trained at in the first place for the little skill that they taught me, I found out years later after I got out, when my teeth started breaking off, I bite on a chicken bone like I used to when I was a young man. You know, you bite, well, maybe you don't know. In the old days, we bite on the chicken bone because it had marrow. We bite on the chicken bone because at the end of the bone it had what we call gristle, some yellow shit. We used to eat all that. My grandmother used to chew the bone till it get all that. But when I got older and got out the Marine Corps, I went and tried that, biting on the bone, and my teeth broke off. Then they all started breaking off. But the first one was Sifu Ben Hill Bay. He punched me in the mouth with a bagua palm, because we used to spar like with no equipment. And he like, bah, give me a bagua palm in the face. Not my first, that was the first tooth. I'm never gonna let you forget that Sifu Ben Hill Bay. That's my man. But I swear to the Most High. After that first tooth, then they all start. It was like an omen type of thing, because we, just practicing, because I hit him in the eye, but I was more controlled. I didn't take his eye out. We hit each other at the same time. Anyway, so after that first time of being poisoned, I went in the Marine Corps and come back to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. And years later, when I went to the dentist, "Hey, why are my teeth breaking off?" He's like, I guess the insurance or whatever. He's like, "Oh, you was stationed at Camp Lejeune? Oh, don't you know they have a lawsuit for putting benzene and other chemicals in the water that we drank, that we washed, that we cooked with?" There was no bottled water back in those days. Back in those days, none. But well, maybe people that had money, they had Avion or some shit. It wasn't no bottled water in the hood yet. So we drank, we bathed, and we cooked, and whatever else you do with water. And the water was poisoned with benzene. That's the thing that made my teeth and bones brittle. Till this day, I had to do massages. This is why I call myself Proof B, because the things that I teach have healed me. The Tai Chi has healed me from these things. I'm poisoned. It's a done deal. It used to get big. My knees used to get, if I walk a certain few blocks, they get all swollen when by the time I get back home, da-da-da-da-da. My bones was fucked up, not just my teeth. not just my teeth. So years later, when they finally, you know how they do the lawsuit on TV. Oh, if you was at Camp Lejeune and blah 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 during this time from the 50s they were poisoning the water, or at least that's when they was counting from. So I put in two lawsuits. Two, two, two is better than one. And both times, no, well, the final decision was we don't fix teeth. I'm like, motherfucker, I didn't ask you to fix my teeth, nigga. You're poisoning me. You're poisoning me. I checked it out. People were dying of cancer. I'm lucky. My father was nicknamed Lucky. You understand? I didn't die. My teeth fell out, and I just look like people think I'm a crack addict and a bum. Nigga, I teach the highest spiritual knowledge on the planet Earth without exaggeration. Without exaggeration. Y'all don't even know what I am. I don't even know what I am. I'm still trying to. Anyway, so that poisoning of the water that everybody needs, that everybody uses, poisoned me and made my teeth or my bones and teeth brittle. And if I didn't get into Tai Chi and the Tao and all these different things and start learning how to breathe, and I still have a hard time with the food, but come to find out, that's a good thing because I'm kind of just naturally fasting every day. I don't eat a whole lot. But fuck with me for real, for real. So maybe that's why people never talk to me. Were they scared that I would punch them in the fucking mouth? No, I would have listened. Hey, Roy, what's up with your teeth? Why don't you talk to me like I was a child? Because I was a child. And come to find out, at 69 years old, there's still some areas where I'm still a child because how can you grow up if nobody is teaching you, talking to you, training you? They love you somewhere because your family or whatever. Are we with you? You with me where? Where you at? Who else teach what I'm teaching? So now in this old age, after I done been through the shit and nobody ever asked me, Roy, how did almost dying affect your mind? Blah, blah, blah. Nobody, none, zero. The closest family to me, closest. Nobody never asked. I still got a little problem with that, but I'm realizing maybe our people just don't know how to ask. Maybe we don't know how to talk to each other anymore. Because I'm sure if we got this far from 1 trillion years ago, if we still here, I'm sure we must have talked somewhere along the way. If somebody like me is in your family and I got skills, I got talent, I used to have looks. You know, I got all this shit going on, but I was really shy. I don't know how I became a teacher because now you're talking in front of a crowd of people where when I was younger, I was like, hi, I'm Roy. Yeah, I was like stupid, painfully shy, painfully shy. I overcame that. I told you about one operation. I had two operations. I had an operation when I was 12 years old on my testicles. I can't show you that. Well, it ain't no scar. They cut open my testicle sac. I don't even know what it's called, but they said one of my testicles turned inside out. Years later, I asked the doctor what the hell was that. They told me a name. It's like Greek or shit, Indian. Hasigakabungalingi. What the? Your balls turned inside out. Huh? So that was my first operation. First operation. The second operation was my appendix. But guess what? Why do I do shit like that? Because after all that, I'm still here. Why am I still here? Because of the things that I do. I learned how to breathe properly, like a child breathes. I learned Tai Chi and how to move and how to relax. That was the battery going dead. And how to relax and all that good shit. So at 69 years old, I'm still here. And all the people all the people who call themselves family that I tried to bring this to, we ain't into that. Well, one by one, they dying of painful stuff. I'm gonna die too, but I'm good. Get it? It's about quality of passing or what you call dying. The quality. I'm gonna decide, unless somebody shoot me in the fucking head or something. I'm gonna decide when I die. I'm gonna be like, I'm tired of y'all's human bullshit. I'm tired. Tired. That's a whole nother story. So, yes, man. So that's the story. That's the white elephant in the room. It's always a white mom. That's the white elephant in the room. What's up with your teeth? You teaching about martial art, you're teaching about yoga and self-healing, but you look like you're skinny and you look like a crackhead, boy. You got that hat on your head and all. You're looking like that, and you're looking. But nobody ever asks, hey, Roy, what are you really about? Nobody. And I'm 69 years old. That's a long time for nobody. None. Zip, zero, nada. To never even care enough to ask, what's wrong with you, Roy? Now I'm just, boy, I'm gonna go be a bum on the beach today. I'm gonna go sit there and just be like, I'm gonna be what everybody think I am. And I'm gonna soak up some sun and just chill on the beach today. I'm out. Peace. Boy, I missed the button. Boy.